The 2017 Chevrolet Cruze Sedan. Now, I need for you to forget everything you know about the previous first generation Chevrolet Cruze Sedan and refocus your mind on this all-new second generation model. I'm Jay and welcome to CarBuzz Unboxing Reviews. And before I go any further, I want to thank Woodland Motors for letting CarBuzz come on down and film today. Okay, so I did a recent unboxing review of the also all-new 2017 Chevrolet Cruze 5-door hatchback, which I really liked that car. I was very impressed by it, but I also know that a lot of Americans still prefer sedans. Europeans have always loved hatchbacks, and sometimes that 5-door hatchback styling just doesn't work for everybody. I do actually kind of prefer it because I think a 5-door hatchback is a less expensive alternative to a crossover, and like I've said in previous reviews as well, all a crossover really is a raised hatchback with a more SUV-ish like body design. But the second generation Cruze that you see here, without question, it is a better vehicle inside and out than its immediate predecessor. And speaking of which, that first generation Cruze sedan, it first hit the market in 2011, and the second generation model you see here came out for 2016. And compared to its sedan predecessor, this one has a 0.6-inch longer wheelbase, and overall it's 2.7 inches longer, making it actually pretty large for a compact car, which is this car's official segment classification. Now, the roofline is also slightly lowered, which is kind of interesting just to give it a more sleek look, and because of that, with the exception of the rear leg and knee room, the interior is actually slightly smaller than before. But once you get inside of it, it actually looks and feels bigger. So I have to applaud Chevrolet engineers and designers for pulling that off. And of course, this generation, just like with all newer cars today, it is lighter and more fuel efficient than its predecessor. So step inside here, and yeah, you can immediately tell that this is a higher quality vehicle than the car it replaces. It has this jet black interior, comes standard with a 7-inch touchscreen with Chevrolet's MyLink infotainment system. And this car is also equipped with a $1,150 convenience package. What does that get you? You get an 8-way power adjustable driver's seat, the Easy Key passive entry system, keyless smart entry, remote vehicle start, and driver and front passenger heated seats. Now, I noticed on the previous generation Cruze that some of the interior materials were still a little cheap, even though that first generation Cruze it came out in the wake of GM's immediate bankruptcy, and it was really a big improvement compared to the old Chevrolet Cobalt and its even more kind of crappy predecessor than that, the Chevrolet Cavalier. The Cruze has always represented the new GM as opposed to the Cobalt, and the Cavalier is the old GM. And even, rear seat space. As I mentioned here, there's more leg and knee room than before. Now, like I mentioned, the roofline, it is slightly lower, but I don't think really anyone's going to make a difference. It's lower by less than 1 full inch, so it's no big deal. But the overall choice of materials here and the fit and finish, it's very good. It is certainly on par with the best from, let's say, Hyundai, the Hyundai Elantra, the Kia Forte, the Toyota Corolla. So yeah, Chevrolet has very much upped its game here. And the dashboard design from the driver's seat, yeah, I really like this. Again, same thing goes as in the Cruze hatchback. The interior here, it is identical. In fact, from the A-pillar on forward, from the exterior, both the sedan and hatchback are completely identical. Meaning, from the windshield forward, same cars. Exactly. There's that 7-inch infotainment screen there. And you have to remember something about this, the Cruze here. I want to be very clear. This is not a sporty car. Not at all. It's not like, say, the Mazda 3. I mentioned this with the Cruze hatchback. This is very much, no pun intended, a cruiser. The Chevrolet Cruze is a good cruiser. In fact, Chevrolet was saying that it was inspired by the larger and the mid-sized Malibu's chassis engineering and such and tuning, and they try to replicate that as much as possible for the Cruze. So yeah, you get a very good and very comfortable car here. It's perfect for long distance driving, and that says a lot for a compact sedan. In the past, back in the 80s and 90s, compact cars were just good city cars at most, but now I would totally drive this Chevrolet Cruze cross country without any hesitation. And yeah, the MyLink infotainment system here, I think this is really good. Notice the really nice and strong colors here. The system works overall very, very well. I do think I like Ford's new Sync 3 a little bit better, but that would not, infotainment system-wise, stop me from not choosing this Cruze over some of its competitors. Then again, as you see in my Toyota Corolla unboxing review, it has Toyota's ancient Entune infotainment system, and that's just pretty not good. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, that 6-speed automatic transmission there. I'll get to more of that when we talk about the engine shortly. And yeah, the Cruze Sedan, it's just a compact sedan. It just does everything well, such as safety. It's got 10 airbags standard, 4-wheel ABS brakes, StabiliTrak stability control, a tire pressure monitor, and a rear view camera. Now, it also comes with a feature called Teen Driver, and GM is really proud of this, and I can understand why. It's basically a configurable feature that allows you to activate customizable vehicle settings associated with your key fob to encourage safe driving behavior. Basically, it limits certain vehicle features and prevents certain safety systems from being turned off. And it's also interesting. An in-vehicle report gives you information on how your teenager's driving habits help you to continue coaching your teen driver to become a better driver. It's basically a black box for parents in the car, and they can download and see everything that their teenager is doing, and it's a very smart idea. There's your 8-way power driver seat there. And yeah, the overall seating position is very, very nice. Also notice here that the front passenger seat, it's not a power driver seat, it's just a manual adjustable one, which I think is just fine. And speaking of other features here, now this is the Cruze LT, and there are several trim models. You have the base L, the LS, the LT, this one here, and then you have the top of the line Premier. And when I get to pricing in just another couple of minutes, I think you're going to see that the nearly top of the line LT, this model right here, is actually, in my opinion, the best value for the money in the entire Cruze lineup, whether it's the sedan or the hatchback. And you have your couple of USB ports here, one for the rear seat passengers. That's really important today, such as other connectivity issues. And this is good. You have standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot, Sirius XM satellite radio, and OnStar. In fact, I did a recent unboxing review of, get this, the Porsche Cayenne, and to get Apple CarPlay compatibility, and that costs an extra $300, and it's standard here. So, yeah. And trunk space, okay, this is good. You have 14 cubic feet plus a 60-40 split folding rear seats. Now, just to compare here, this is why I like the hatchback. The hatchback gives you 23 cubic feet behind the rear seats, which is more than 7 cubic feet than the sedan's trunk here. And then with the 60-40 split folding rear seats folded in the hatchback, you get 47.2 cubic feet, and that is roughly the same size as a crossover. So bear that in mind when you're trying to decide, and if you're open to going to the Cruze hatchback, you get a lot more space for not a whole lot more money. But for most, I think this 14 cubic inch trunk here is, 14 cubic feet trunk is suitable enough. All right, what do we got under the hood? So this is the only engine for now that Chevrolet offers in the Cruze. It is a 1.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 153 horsepower, 177 pound-feet of torque. Power goes to the front wheels through a 6-speed automatic. As of now, there is no all-wheel drive option. You can also get a 6-speed manual as standard in the base L and LS trims, but I think the 6-speed automatic is just fine here. Now for 2018, this is interesting. A 1.6 liter turbo diesel engine is coming. That's going to be paired to either a 6-speed manual or a new 9-speed automatic. Yeah, a diesel in the wake of Volkswagen's Dieselgate scandal. That'll be interesting. But let's give this engine a listen here. All right, so yeah, it's Yeah, what can I say? It's a 1.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Nothing exciting, but it does the job, and that is what's important here. So performance, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 7.6 seconds. Top speed is 132 miles per hour, electronically limited. Fuel economy, 30 miles per gallon in the city, 40 on the highway, and a combined 34. Total weight is 2,900 pounds. Wow, so 40 miles per gallon on the highway if you drive really slowly. That is excellent. Now, just again, to compare this to the hatchback, that returns 29 miles per hour in the city and 38 on the highway, and it weighs about another 150 pounds or so. So yeah, you sacrifice a little fuel economy in the Cruze Hatchback, but then again, you get all that extra space. Now, let's talk about the exterior here. Now, this is the kinetic blue metallic paint, extra $395. Comes standard with 16-inch wheels. You can option up for 17-inch wheels. I don't think they're really necessary. You also have LED daytime running lights. And this has the RS package. It's $695. You get a sport body kit, RS lettering, front fog lamps, and a rear spoiler too. It's like I really do like this exterior design. It's I think it's a little sexier than the first generation. It's got a little more attitude going. And I think the four-door coupe styling was the right way to go. So let's talk some pricing here. Now, a base Cruze sedan will begin at $17,850. Now, the LT trim that you see here begins at $21,450. And our car, with a few of its extra features, plus an $875 destination fee, you're looking at a grand total of $24,565, which is, yeah, I think that's a really good value there. Now, again, I want to compare to the Cruze Hatchback. That begins at $22,115, again, as opposed to $17,850 for the sedan. So, yeah, you're spending a little bit more, but I think you're just gaining a lot more. You don't need to go for, oftentimes, a more expensive crossover with the Chevrolet Cruze Hatchback. You just get a lot of interior space. So what's some of the competition? Well, you got the Mazda 3, Ford Focus, Subaru Impreza, Honda Civic, Hyundai Elantra, Kia Forte, Toyota Corolla, and even the Volkswagen Jetta. And like I mentioned, all those compact cars they're all excellent. But what's nice about the Cruze sedan here is that in terms of interior dimensions, it's at the larger end of the compact segment. So you're getting a fairly large compact car that's still not quite mid-size. So what do I like here? Well, for starters, man, it's a very comfortable ride. It rides an awful lot like the midsize Malibu, and that's a really good thing, especially because Americans drive a lot, they drive long distances, and yeah, I would be, again, totally comfortable driving this Cruze cross-country. I would not hesitate for a moment to do it. And I also like the great list of standard tech features, such as, the Apple CarPlay compatibility that you don't get standard in a $90,000 Porsche Cayenne. And yeah, the interior, I think it's very comfortable. It was a very nice place to be. High quality fit and finish for the materials. Now, what don't I like? Well, it's just not very fun to drive. It drives like, a Chevrolet Malibu. This is not a sporty car, and I think they could have engineered it and tuned the suspension to be sportier, but they decided not to. Chevrolet knows who its customers are for this. And I couldn't but help but think that, just like with the Chevrolet Cruze Hatchback, that the turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that's found in the Camaro, the Malibu, Buick Regal, and the Cadillac ATS would be awesome in this car, combined with the 6-speed manual. And man, this would just be such a fun car to drive with some more suspension tuning. But again, I really couldn't find a bad angle from the exterior here. I think this is a very competitive car for the compact segment. I think it does give the Ford Focus a run for its money as well, at least in terms of design. So I'm out of time for today, everyone. Thanks for watching. Any more questions for me, just leave them in the comment section below. And be sure to read the full review of the Cruze Sedan on carbuzz.com, and I'll see you next time.